What's up, comic book junkies? I'm Mike Smith here at Night Tiger Comics. I thought I'd start out in the comic room for this video because I am not hanging around in here very much these days. My wife has took over the finances. She said no more sending out comics, no more buying comics. I haven't bought a comic in well over a month. I'm talking about Golden Age. I'm pretty much done. I am putting all my financial resources that I have into Mylaring the whole collection. So I've been actively doing that down here. I just traded in about 3 or 4 stacks like this and 2 slabs of modern books I got like $80 worth of Mylars and backing boards. So I thought I'd start out in here. It's a little melancholy, but I feel like I've achieved my goal in collecting. I don't need any more comics. So you can see. So let's go in the other room and we'll look at some cool comics and I'll show you what I'm doing. And I don't have new content to show as far as new buys, but I do have comic books. So you can see here, I'm prepping these up because I used all the Mylars up already. And yesterday I sat here, so I've taken over the bar table in the family room and used all 60 the Mylars I had, not 60, 150. And I'm double boarding everything. So I'm up to the G's. As you can see, this box is almost complete. And then I'll put a box here that I work on. I'll put the next box here. And then once this one's done, I'll put it back and I'll bring another box, put this over here, and then put the new box here. So over here in this room, I'm working on these first. They're mostly the books that I've already read. So all these are done. These are all Mylar, the whole thing. They look so beautiful, so nice. So I can't wait to... So I got all those to go down there. And the boxes in my room are probably about 75% done. So I'm double boarding everything too. So I'm taking the boards out and I'll find a lot of nasty boards, but I don't get rid of them. If they're still pretty decent, what I'll do is I'll put a nice new board in the front so you'll see the white behind the comic, and then I'll put like a yellowed one, if it's whatever, in the back so you won't even see it, so it doesn't matter. It just gives it a nice strong structural feel to the package. All right, so let's look at some of the... I'm just going to show I'm going to show some cool comics that I've already bagged and boarded. You can see my setup here. Here I actually is from trimming boards. So some of those Silver Age ones I'll cut down to fit for the moderns. And you can hear this fly got in the house, a big one. He's buzzing around. I'm watching Reaper Tate talk about comic pricing. And since I'm up to the G's, I thought I'd show some of these cool books first. So I'm up to Ghost, but since the ones I have left are Silver Age, and I ran out of the Silver Age bags quickly, I jumped over to Green Lantern. And I have not read this era yet, and I've been collecting this era out of dollar bins for years, so I have a pretty good run from like 75 all the way to 81 or 2. And I love this because look here. The backup feature is the Golden Age Green Lantern. Not too hot about Mike Grell's art. I do like him as a writer. So he does a lot of these books around 79. He does the art for them. Here's another one. I do have, so when I was going through them, I didn't even realize, I didn't really take a look, but I have the one that has the first appearance of the backup feature with the Golden Age Green Lantern. So I'm kind of looking forward. And so if you're just new, I'm actually moving to Dominican Republic next year. So I'm downsizing the collection, mylaring it all with the intention that I'm not going to be buying any comics. They don't have comic shops over there. I've checked. So I'll be able to be fully retired, and I'll be able to spend a lot of time reading. So a lot of these books that I've had for well over a decade that I've had in my collection that I've never even touched, and since I bought them, I mean, you should see some of the nasty bags that a lot of these were in. I mean, consistently. I'll be able to read this stuff finally. So another Golden Age Green Lantern. And this is number 109. This is number 110. So I said, like, I have a good consistent run. What am I drinking today? Some Charged lemonade. Got these at the Dollar Tree. They're pretty good. So I'm actually up to Ghosts. And I'm out of Mylars. And the standards, or the Silver Age Mylars, you can't get them in this town. I got to go 30 miles to Gainesville, the college town, to get them. And I'm out of money right now. I had to trade, like I said, I had to trade in a bunch of stuff because my wife wouldn't give me any money. I begged. She's like, nope, we got to pay the bills. We got to get the credit cards paid off before we move. So I always love DC Bronze Age. Another cool one. And you know, you look at modern books today, especially from DC, they don't have a whole lot of cool titles. It's mainly the core superheroes, and that's it. There's no House of Mystery, no Ghost, no Unexpected anymore, no Mysteries in Space. That era has passed. Who knows? It could come back. I got doubles on this. This one was water waved, the whole book. I just had it out in the press overnight. It's got a rusted staple right here, but I do have a better copy of this Isis number 1 from November, what is this, 1978. I remember watching that live action show on Saturday growing up. You can see right here. So her first ongoing series. Another cool reprint title that DC used to put out back in the early 70s, late 60s, From Beyond the Unknown. I forget what they would reprint. Just a really cool title. From Beyond the Unknown. This is from 1970, December 69. Great sci-fi title. So some random books that I mylared. The Tarantula That Takes the Game. His first appearance was in Spectacular Spider-Man number 1. I believe that was it. Wow, that's a huge fly. It landed right next to me. Hey, get out of here. I'm doing a video. So cool. I don't know. Is this Ramita cover? It looks like it. Really cool cover. That just screams Bronze Age. Those reds. Look at those reds. What a cool character, though. How the heck does he walk around with those pointed toes? So Amazing Spider-Man 147, August 75. Great time to be alive and read comics. What are you all doing these days with your collection? I'd be curious to know. So Fantastic Four. This is a Keith Pollard cover. And the Four Dooms to Destroy the FF. I believe I read this. And I think I've read this one more than once. It's a really great story. Too bad Dr. Doom wasn't on the cover of this, though. So that's Fantastic Four, number 201. $1978. look how great these books look in Mylar. And you know, with the double boards in them, they feel like really structurally sound. They feel cool. I don't say when you have one board, it's like they're a little flimsy. Weird Western Tales after Jonah Hex was given his own title, and then they brought in the Scalp Hunter. Never a big Scalp Hunter fan. I do like this cover. I think I have another copy. It's one of those dollar books that I always pick up more than one if I see it because I just like the cover. Weird Western Tales, number 50. December 78, let's say. Yeah, Ross Andrew and Al Ingram cover. It says I paid $6. When I was putting this in a Mylar, I was like, why did I pay $6 for that? But who knows? Shout out to Scoons Comics or Scoon Brian. I hope you're doing well, Brian. He's going through a little trial there. And I told him to grab some of his Superman comic books and hold on to them really tight and take all the positive energy from the comics and make them heal. So first appearance of Omega Red. I've found this book I don't know how many times in the dollar bin. X-Men number 4, January 1990. 91. I was right. I was going to say 91 and I was going to look, but it is 91. Just a really cool Jim Lee cover. That's why I like it, especially that red background. Nice Jubilee right there. Omega Red. Remember when this book was just so hot? Everyone was specking on that guy. Was going to be in the movies. Here we have Third Rocket Raccoon. First mention of Intelligent Hulk. Nice Sasquatch and Wendigo cover. Al Ingram, 1982. Low grade. I picked this up at Second and Charles years and years ago. It's a pretty low copy. So you notice I'm not showing any Golden Age recently. You know, I figured I'll show Golden Age in the future. It's just I have never shown a lot of bronze and silver videos. I haven't done that many, as many as I've done gold, and I have my collection is 80% silver and bronze. So the Jester, I remember reading this. There's really great art in here. Daredevil number 136, August. I'm gonna say 76. And that looks like a Sal Buscema cover to me. Now, I was right. August 76. The old man still has it. So what are you guys doing these days? I was going to do a live show the other day, but then after preparing for it, sat down to eat dinner, and I was just sitting there like, man, I don't want to get up. I want to just relax, watch TV, and I never did the live show. This is one of my favorite books. I think at one time I probably had like 6 copies of this book. And this is one of those comics, that were the first ones you ever had, like when you started collecting. And Daredevil's my favorite Marvel superhero after Moon Knight. And Yellow Jacket, also one of my favorites. Elektra, also an awesome character. And I have read this multiple times, but it's been so long that I can't even remember the story. I remember reading that trial of Yellow Jacket when it came out. It was so cool. I enjoyed it. I didn't like the fact that they made him a wife abuser. I didn't care for that, but the storyline was definitely compelling. Here we have an Alan Davis cover. Oh, what a great artist, Alan Davis. Joker, Catwoman. Beautiful. Mike Barr on scripts. This is from December 86. Nice high-grade copy of that. And then I have the issue before it, too, in a high-grade copy. The art in here, Alan Davis art is good. I mean, especially when he did Excalibur. I really enjoyed that. I never really cared for the characters as much as I did the art in Excalibur. Detective Comics 569. So please be free to comment down below on some of these comics. If you see anything you like, what's your favorite? Here's another key book, First Speedball. I picked this up at the flea market for $4. Really high grade copy of this. Amazing Spider-Man Annual. This was the Evolutionary War, which I never really followed. I don't really know nothing about it. So who's RF? I know it's John Romita Jr. I don't know who the RF is, but I really like the cover. Oh, this is first Mark Bagley on Spider-Man also. An appearance by my favorite Daredevil over here. Have not read this yet. What year is that? 88. I never was like a big Spider-Man fan, but anytime I read a Bronze Age Spider-Man, I always enjoyed it. This is a cool issue right here. It's kind of a key. This is the last issue of House of Mystery. So he's leaving. Abel's leaving the that's Abel, right? I don't remember. So is this the end of the House of Mystery? And it was the end. They combined it in a giant-sized dollar book, Unexpected House of Mystery, and I believe it was House of Secrets, all into one issue. That lasted, it didn't last very long, I don't think. But then I think they brought House of Mystery back here like a couple of years ago, a few issues of it. But it's sad to see such a great series had to end. So number 321, I'm going to guess this is 1982. Let's see if I'm right. I'm wrong. It's 83. So that's the last issue, 321. Then we have, I didn't know I had two of these. I was going through boxes trying to find some cool books to show, and then Mylar also. And this is Transformers number 22, first appearance of the, I forget what it is, the Stunticons. So got two nice high grade copies of that. It's a great cover. I did watch this show. This was more era of my brothers, my younger brothers. But I do remember watching it, enjoying what I saw, every time I sat down to see an episode. So I had a lot of friends that had brothers that were my brother's ages, and I'd go to their house and it'd be on. This is funny. I can't believe this book kind of became like a bigger key as far as beyond the dollar, because I would see this in the dollar bin all the time, and then all of a sudden it popped into a 10, at one time $20 book, and I was like, are you kidding me? First appearance of Bishop. What is this? His first cover or something like that? Yeah, first cover appearance. And a cameo. And like I said, I found these in the dollar bin all the time. I never cared for the X-Men, especially at this point. It was just too convoluted. There were too many books and too many storylines. It was just so much to follow that I just never cared to even read X-Men at all. Up to 1981 or 2 is when I just said, I don't want to buy any more X-Men. Got too popular, and everything was X-Men everywhere. Someone mentioned that there is a newsstand of this, so I've been searching for the newsstand for years. Never, ever been able to find one. I've got a couple multiples of this book, but they're all directs. Just a killer Brian Boland cover with a great concept with the Cheshire Cat and the Joker smile. So that's Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, number 50, September 1983. Love Brian Boland. What a great artist. This one I was debating whether should I get rid of it or not, because since I can't gift any more books to anyone, you gotta you know, honor the wife. I found a high grade copy of this, and I was gonna put it in a pack. But there we go. A nice Neil Adams cover. Great. Lois in Hell. And I still I don't have this in a Mylar. I decided I'm going to keep it, throw it in next to the other one in the box. I always think, I have these doubles. I was going to give them all away. And now I'm thinking, it would be pretty cool one day when I'm in Dominican Republic and I'm in my own new comic room and I got doubles of stuff, and just warms your cockles when you have doubles of really cool books. So this is Superman 236. Oh, what is this? April 72, I think. 71. So what you're going to see here is a lot of doubles. Jonah Hex, Weird Western Tales. If you have not, and I say this all the time when I show Jonah Hex, if you have not read this series and you come across these in dollar bins, I've not read a bad issue of Jonah Hex. It's good characterization, it's continuity. The art is always spectacular, and if you like Western things and theme things like I do, TV shows and movies, you're going to really like this character and the stories. So Weird Western Tales, number 27, 1972, 5. And I'm off twice. This is a great Frank Thorne cover. I always thought this should have been the cover for number 1. So Marvel Feature presents Red Sonja, number 4. And what can you say about that? It's gorgeous. Red Sonja. Oh, redheads are beautiful, but I married a redhead and they are wild. And yeah, so if you get a chance and you're dating or something and you are going on a date with a redhead, I suggest don't take it too far, because they'll make your life a roller coaster. All the redheads that I've dated have been too wild. Great Frank Thorne cover. And I know my videos have kind of been going a little longer these days, and I'm going back to the original Night Tiger. I used to do videos long all the time, because that's how I like to watch them. If it's got great content, cool books, I'll stick around and watch the whole thing. Starhawk, which I always thought was cool. I thought his costume was just so cool looking. Him and Nighthawk. This is one of those series that I first started reading when I was a kid, because you could find these always in like $1.50 bins, quarter bins. Nobody wanted these books, these Marvel Presents Guardians of the Galaxies. So number 11, June 1977. And I believe some of Al Mingram's best art is in this series. I put this in here because I wanted to see anybody familiar with Mr. E, another great character that not too many people know about in the Bronze Age. Here we got a Frankenstein cover. He's a blind, kind of like supernatural detective. So House of Secrets, number 35. And he did become pretty popular once he made some back issue feature appearances. He was so popular, he became like the title character of House of Secrets of Haunted House. So this is April 1981. Yep. So if you come across any Mr. E, you'll enjoy that. This is a book that I bought recently. Nice high grade copy. $50. Is this the cameo? Yeah, cameo of Alpha Flight, which it was a John Byrne creation, and I was there to buy them off the newsstands when Alpha Flight, the series, came out, and I really enjoyed it. One of the first flirts and flings and affairs I had with comics was when John Byrne started doing the Fantastic Four. I bought that off the newsstand, and I was just blown away, and I wanted to read everything that John Byrne did. His Captain America run, his Alpha Flight, and then I went back to get back issues of Fantastic Four because I fell in love with them because of John Byrne. And then I discovered Jack Kirby, and I'm like, whoa, this artist is so awesome, explosive. Okay, guys, should I go a little faster, or do you care? Phantom Stranger, another great character from DC Bronze Age that I love. A lot of these stories are really good. And then you got the Black Orchid, which was another cool character. I remember reading her. I have her first appearances in Adventure Comics, and those were really good also. So Phantom Stranger number 38, September 76, because it's got the anniversary or the birthday of the country logo up there. This is The Death of Gwen Stacy. Of course, this is a pricey book if you get the actual issue. So when I found this in the dollar bin, the reprint from Marvel Tales, number 99, I had to read it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. When he grabbed her with the webbing when she was falling, I kind of missed because it only has this really little word that says snap by her neck. And so I had to ask people, how did she die? Or I had to look it up. And it's like she broke her neck when Spider-Man tried to save her with his webbing. So I got the next issue and I have not read it yet. This is a killer book here. Love this cover. One of the few, like, my favorite covers of the Bronze Age. So Marvel Presents number 3 again with The Power of Starhawk. This is the first Guardians of the Galaxies in their solo series. And just look at the team. They're so colorful, so diverse, dynamic. Who could not want to read this? I picked this one up off eBay. Looked for it for years in a dollar bin. I had it before and sold it in the collection and wanted to get it back and complete the run again. So I finally had to break down and buy it off eBay. And what did I pay for it? I paid $30 for this, and it's probably like a 8.0 copy. I got 2 copies of this. Just a great cover. Maurice Severin. And the art in here is so good. The story is so good. I've read this more than once because of the art. It's one of those books where you go panel to panel and you just stop and take it all in. But the Rhino versus the Hulk, just a beautiful cover. The colors are so good on this thing. Incredible Hulk 104. So what does that make this? Issue 3 of his second solo series. I think it started with 101. And then I picked up a second copy of this one recently. This is another great book by Kirby that I've read multiple times. I went to my cousin's house and he was getting rid of some comics and I was $5, so I figured, you know what, I'll pick up a second copy of that. One of my favorite books. I like the end where he turns his feet into a skateboard, and I always love how Jack Kirby tried to incorporate it, like the times that were going on around when he was doing the books. So skateboarding was pretty big in 1979. And just a great character. I really like it. I think it's one of his better features. It's much better than Commandy. I'm not a big Commandy fan. We're almost done, guys. I know it's running about a half hour, but hey, you gotta admit, there's a lot of cool comics in here. First appearance of her. I have not read this yet. Again, Starhawk on the cover. George Perez cover. Really beautiful cover with the Kirby crackle that he emulated there. And just, it's just a stunning cover. I really can't wait to read this. I don't even know anything about her. Oh, yeah, I do have her appearance. What was it that she appeared in the 90s? I forget the book. But Terry Austin, George Perez cover. I don't know if they do interiors. This is from 1979, 2-in-1. I hope he does interiors on that. I have a couple issues of this one, too. Another of my favorite DC Bronze Age covers. I do remember reading this. If you've ever watched The Greatest American Hero on TV, this looks like Bill, who was the FBI agent. I mean, it looks just like him. But that's Captain Thunder. Of course, they were testing to see how popular Shazam was still in the minds of readers. And obviously, they brought him back. He was pretty popular. This is a Nick Hardy cover. It's a great cover. And I collect any cover I can find, even in modern books, where it has Superman versus Shazam. And there are quite a few of them. Especially in All-Star Squadron. I just Mylar'd that one, where he was, he had Superman on the ground and was pulverizing him. Okay, last book. I just read this whole book. These dollar books from 1977 to 80 are great. There's another Neil Adams cover. Had a really fun crypto story and another great Nightwing and Flamebird story in here. I didn't really care for the Jimmy Olsen story, but you know, it was what it was. But these are really cool. I love the way that they look, the trade dress and the dollar bullets up here and everything. 80 pages, all new stories, a really thick book. So yeah, great Neil Adams cover. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'm trying to put out at least a video a week, and hope to see you in some live shows soon. So Night Tiger, peace out.